Alright, so we just finished the second season of Percy Jackson, and holy shit, I got some thoughts I gotta talk about. Alright, so for me, I haven't read Sea of Monsters in a very long time, since like middle school. And so I watched the show without reading the book to see if it was any different than reading the book and then watching the show. So I watched the show first, then read the book. And I gotta say, there are a lot of changes that I do like, and a lot of changes I'm not a fan of. So I just want to break down this video and talk about the good and the bad, and just my thoughts about the show. So first things first, let's talk about the good. The first episode, they cut out all the school scenes, and we just like jump right into the cab scene and go right to the quest. Honestly, I'm okay with that. Disney doesn't want to give us 12 episodes, so we only get stuck with 8. So we have to cut out something. We might as well cut out the school scene. Another thing that I did enjoy was having Percy and Sally know that Tyson was a Cyclops from the start. Honestly, in this kind of world, you would expect Percy to already know what a Cyclops is and the Mist already since the season. So I liked how they handled that. Another thing they did that I liked was creating a new character called Allison, which shows what the demigods who are following Luke and Kronos and like what their thought process is. I thought it was really cool, and that was pretty fun to watch, especially the dynamic that Allison and Annabeth have. And then for Polyphemus, they made him smart, and when compared to the books, he was kind of dumb. I like how they made him more of a threat in this kind of show, and it was interesting to see how he was just faking acting dumb, trying to bait other demigods to go find Grover. Which leads to Clarice also. Clarice got a lot of work, and I appreciate that. It was really good, and see how she cares a lot more for her campmates. We get this badass scene with Luke going crazy on Percy. It was amazing seeing that. And the biggest change I would say is Zeus turning Thalia into a tree because she didn't want to become a weapon for him. I actually think that was a very great move, especially to show how the gods are like not good people really. And for the bad, oh man, one of the biggest complaints I have personally is how they handle the camp and the camp people. In this book, we would have already been introduced to Beckendorf and Selena, but for some reason they get scrapped for this book and they're not even shown. And instead they're giving screen time to Chris and Allison, which, like I said, it's good to see what the demigods that follow Kronos are like, but to sacrifice the time of actual characters like Charles and Selena, the Stoll brothers, and not give them any screen time, I don't know. It's an interesting play to do. One of the things I didn't like is how they handled the Polyphemus fight. Tyson shows up to the island and he kind of just grapples Polyphemus, and then they fall over the cliff, and that's it. You don't even get to see them fight compared to the book when it was Polyphemus versus Tyson and Percy. Percy's using his powers and Tyson's doing what he does, and it was a really good fight, but we don't even get to see that. And even though I like the scene with Luke and Percy, what we could have had I felt would have been better, because in the books Percy uses his powers once again trying to fight Luke, because Luke is just that good of a fighter that Percy had to use water to even try to even the playing field, but we don't even get that kind of scene. You have a final showdown with Luke versus Percy in Miami, and then the party ponies show up, and there's a whole fucking battle scene, and that's completely scrapped. But in the show, Luke is purposely attacking Camp Half-Blood, and he has an entire cruise ship with monsters and demigods, right? So why is it that on the battlefield he only has like 15 demigods with him and like 4 giants, and he only brings in 1 giant through the barrier? It makes no sense. And then you have the final battle scene though, but I feel like, I don't know, when you have a bunch of children of gods and they all have their own set of powers, you would expect someone to do some kind of power, but everyone just sticks to the swords, which I guess it costs too much, I suppose. But then it turns out that Percy Jackson and the Game of Thrones episodes costed the exact same per episode. So why is it the Game of Thrones has way more higher quality episodes than Percy Jackson? Where's the money going? And another complaint I have is this show kind of removes a lot of the Greek mythology. Like the hippocampi show up, then they're gone right away. The party ponies are supposed to be in this book. They don't even show up. To look manny and sheep, even though that's like a small thing, it's just interesting to see how Greek mythology is just kind of roaming around the world. You don't even get that. But this show's like, it's okay. 3.6 Rodkin, you know, not great, not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but there's definitely a lot to work on. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I would like to know what you guys think about it though.